Kävis halvemmaksi tiliin.
We on, brother.
Oispa tili.
We on, brother.
Is the camera photographing the chair?
No, what you mean?
Well, I don't know if it's a wide angle, you know what I'm saying? So,
It is a right angle.
but wide enough to catch the chair as well,
Well, look at it. Just get up and look.
I'm good.
Hey, welcome
Big Michael.
back. Why? Why? Welcome back to OpinionOutlaws, Season 3, Episode 6.
Oh yeah, because yeah.
Episode 6.
Six?
It is indeed.
Six? What?
Brothers and sisters, get this man a wife. A good wife. You know what to do. So, first of all, how y'all doing?
Man, I'm tired as hell. Not gonna lie, man, my eyes be rolling on inside my head. But alhamdulillah, we blessed. We blessed another day, another. Well, we can't say much about the weather, but other than that, we good. We good. Only funny thing about today is that I have to make a trip right after this photo shoot. So. Oh yeah, what the hell? I told you, man. I have a.
Playboy shoot.
A nigga gotta do what nigga gotta do.
Bro, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing pretty well, considering it's getting nearer and nearer in winter, so which I find actually enjoyable. I like to do snowboarding, so yeah, I'm liking. I'm liking really much, very much.
You mean the winter that went?
Well,
Is about to come
like
back?
let's just say I like we are talking about the real winter, like not this shit, not this shit, but you know.
You gotta explain to the viewers. Some
Yeah.
of them haven't experienced the
Yeah,
winter.
Finnish winter at best is really white,
Yeah.
and not so good winter is
This type of
racially motivated. So I'm not gonna say anything.
I'm gonna say it.
Okay, black winter in Finland is no good winter.
It's a black. You say black winter ain't you good.
Well, winter is white. Winter is white. Sorry to break it to you.
But it's more like gray. It's not black.
Okay, gray.
You get what I'm saying?
Gray.
It's not racially motivated.
Between gray and black, let's say like that.
Yeah, it's more like gray than black.
Okay. Well,
But-
anyways,
I digress.
anyways, in general, I'm doing pretty well. Yeah, looking forward to discussing the topic today.
There you go. And I'm doing as well. Good. Thank you for asking, by the way.
Ain't nobody care. Ain't nobody care.
You were anyways gonna say something, you know? I'm doing well.
Of course. No complaints, right?
So far.
Never. Every day on this earth is a good day. Because God bless us.
Yeah, that wasn't what you said last week. Man, fuck these bitches.
I'ma say that and I'ma say this, so. But I digress. So, the last time we had a guest, I hope you guys enjoyed it. And this time we segue from the cultural, because he told more from his personal journey, his cultural differences, and how he saw his culture and this culture. And our main purpose with that was to bring that difference in the culture, that how it can affect people, how it can change, how it can seem. And this time we go from that to the ageism. Ageism. But basically what it is that you judge people by their age. And in some cases, it's not a bad thing, in my opinion. For example, you cannot say to yourself that he's old, but he runs fast. So I can take him with me to somewhere that he runs fast. It's not possible only if you, take roids and stuff, but that's...
Well, yeah, like for the most part, I agree with that. Like there was this sprint runner, I think, many years ago, who was 100 years old and he was doing speed running.
Yeah.
But of course, we had to remember that those are very extreme exceptions. So it's not like you see every day 100-year-old guy running. Oh, how old are you? Are you 80 years old, 90 years old? None of your pieces.
Indian, if I remember correctly.
That I don't remember, but I just remember that he was really old, and he still appeared as if he was like 40 or 50 years old for his age.
It was crazy.
That's
Yeah.
what we call ancient.
It was crazy, bro. Like, think about it. He was born when the First World War started.
And he's still balling.
And he's still balling. Think about it.
Living it up.
But basically, like, even him, he wasn't fast. Like, first of all, impressive that he got into 100 years old. And the second thing that is more impressive, that he can still move at 100 years.
Active. I mean, you know, testosterone being running on his body. My guy living it up.
And that's a good one. But then the bad thing is that, for example, you look at the guy who is 40 years old, for example, and you judge them that, oh, you're not that fast or you're not that strong. Well, you're kind of mistaken at that point. Because even in 40 years old, it doesn't mean that you're like you used to be. Of course not. But you still have strength. You still have power, and you still have that physical ability. But this is just a surface, what I'm trying to say, the ageism. So therefore, judging the people, I don't know better word for it. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Age racism.
Age racism, but the problem with that is that the race. You get what I'm saying?
Well, in the end, it is about discriminating people based on age. So pretty much age racism.
Exactly what he just said. Exism.
It sounds like an exorcism to you.
Exism. Yeah, exism.
But yeah, and the reason why we talk because of the diversity that we have like a base. So my first question.
He got questions.
Of course.
We got questions.
You know, it's always about the questions, not about the answers. So my question. How you do?
You do.
I'm nigga doing what nigga gotta be doing.
God damn. But my first question is that, have you guys experienced it in some place recently? I would say like this. Because I think it's a good way to start.
What?
Do you guys remember?
Ageism?
Ageism, so therefore they judged you by your age. Actually, did you tell me some kids looked at you like you were ancient?
Bro, come on.
Like,
I'm still young, bro. What you mean?
But think about that. But yeah, do you guys now recollect recently that has happened to you?
Recently,
Actually, funny thing is, because, I come from the background, you come from the pretty similar one, that we automatically have, like, anybody who's older than you is automatically somebody that you gotta kind of, like, respect in a way and see as your elder. And even in workplace, it's seen that if they're older than you, even if they're under you, you kind of gotta treat them in a respectful manner, that they're older than you, they have more knowledge, so on and so on. But ironically, in Europe, or at least in Finland, what I've noticed, it kind of like neutralizes it in a way that, be younger, older. If your manager is younger than you, it don't really matter in a sense, because the manager will treat you kind of the same way as somebody who's young or old or etc. So ageism doesn't really come out that much in like Finnish culture. At least personally, what I've noticed. Of course, there's certain scenarios, exceptions, I would say, in a sense, that where somebody who has been brought up in a way that, if you see somebody older, you gotta treat them in a certain type of way, then yes. But other than that, ageism doesn't really like show out that much.
I agree with that, and that's why I had a really hard time coming up with any examples or experiences about being discriminated based on my age. But I do have some experiences, like from the time when I was really young and when my age served me in a way.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, so I think this was way before my puberty hit. So I was really that kind of voice. I had that kind of voice, and I remember like this was my very first summer job. So the thing, it was around spring, and I remember because I was in a hurry. We were about to head to city with my mom, and she was really angry. Where the fuck are you? Come here, home. And I was like in terror, like, oh, I need to find a job. And I went to a pizzeria for a summer job, and I asked a woman there. She was about 50 years old, and I asked her like, okay, can you hire me? I need a job. And she told me, unfortunately, no, we don't have a place available now. I remember the next thing I did, I was like, ah, shit, and I was like, kind of like, oh, where am I gonna find a job? That kind of like self-pitiful thing. Yeah. Can you imagine? Like I did that like in very high-pitched voice, and she felt sorry for me. And then she told me, okay, you know what? We can actually reconsider it. And eventually she told me, you know what? Actually, you're hired.
My guy.
She was like, damn, this can't be disappointed.
You actually seduced her.
Pretty much.
Wait. My guys go to start doing that child pedophilia thing.
It's not pedophilia. Seduction means that leading astray. That's the definition of the word.
Yeah, I know the definition, but don't tell that out loud like that.
That wasn't in a sexual way, of course.
Yeah, I don't know. Obviously, I had zero sexual thoughts in my mind at that time. I was just, I don't even know, was I really being like trying to manipulate or anything? I was just thinking more like, okay, I needed this job, and I was like very desperate. And I don't know where else to find a job. Can you please help me in any way? And she was like,
okay,
just this time, and I was there for 2 weeks. Yeah,
but it worked.
Yeah, it worked.
It worked. So
that's my only experience. I can say like how age served me. But I remember, because to me, if we talk about, because the most common place, right, where we would talk about ageism would be in working place, right? Yeah. Because that's pretty much the most common place we go to after school, right? And yeah, like I would say school or workplace would be the only places where you would experience that. But I don't, like you said, it's not really that apparent here in Finland to be like discriminated because of your age.
Cannot be speaking to me like that.
Although I have heard stories where older people, well, not in Finland, but in general, sometimes elder people think that they are able to say whatever they want because they're older, right? But that's a whole different story. But still,
funny thing is that it is not also, well, in a way, of course, unless you're visibly like older, then there might be slight changes in treatment, but ain't nobody really be asking your age in a sense in your workplaces that much, at least anymore, unless when they're recruiting you, pretty much.
Actually about that, I think I was applying for a job this year, and I was using this service that help other people to apply for jobs. Even nowadays, actually, they tell you that actually you don't put your age there. They actually, because that is the way you prevent the whole thing that they discriminate you because of your age. And then they directly contact you and say, hey, welcome to interview, blah, blah, blah. And then they're like, oh, so you're that kind of age.
Yeah. No, I'll be like, you don't need to know.
Yeah, and they have pushed this narrative that they want the applications in here, especially here in Finland. I don't know the rest of the world, but they have pushed this narrative where when you apply, no names, no gender, no age.
Not even names.
Not names. Anonymous.
What's the sense?
Number. Like they want to have a clean slate for everyone. So it doesn't do that thing where you're applying, I'm applying, and he's applying, and because me and him are not finished, you will get an interview and not me or him.
That's racially motivated. He said, Peter, what about if you're the only one getting blessed because you got a beard and shit like that?
But I'm talking about the real scenario here. This is not some I just made it up.
Hey, come on now.
I didn't make this up. This is an actual reality that we are living in.
Yeah,
and you know what's the worst part? Every one of us is suffering from that. Not just me, or not just you, or not just him. And he's Finnish.
Man, it's cold out here, bro.
But the example that I took is that because his name is Finnish and he's the same age, but let's say he's older than me. And they have much more, I would say, preference to that than to me. In the workings in general, yes. And this is not a thing, like I said, like he tried to instigate it. I don't know. Have you seen this?
Hey, you just, if you admit, that's on you. I'm just leaning this.
Oh, really? The instigation habit.
Hey.
Did you say that?
Segue. Hey, what you say? Gaslight yourself. What you say now? I heard you say something about ageism. What you trying to say?
You're black.
Hey, yo, bro. Nah, bro. Look at the skin, bro. This is just extra sexy, chocolatey color that I got going on, man. There's no such anything as a black. This is just extra chocolatey flavor. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying.
That's what's up.
That's what I'm saying. But yeah, I kind of agree with y'all because the places that I've worked, there's only one place that I have worked where the age was the factor.
What for?
What for exactly?
Well, this was the reason. The place that I worked in the university, you guys remember?
Oh yeah.
All right. Yeah, I remember.
When a task was presented, I know technology. I'm smarter than you. Not just because I know technology. I'm just smarter than this guy or this girl who is making the same task as me. Their time to make the exact same product or same results from that task was 2 weeks. I did it in 3 days. Exact same result. They gave me shit about it. They had that, but yeah, you kind of eyed. You like, it's okay. But then when they did it, they were, oh wow, look at that. You did it. Oh my God. Yeah, and I'm looking at it like, well, this is the exact same result. What you talking about? There was the problem, in my opinion. It wasn't like direct. Of course not. Nobody in Finland I've seen are like very direct.
No, especially in workplace.
Especially in workplace. But there was that scenario that happened very often, and I understand it because there's this young guy who is very good at his job. He knows what he's doing, and he has the same capacity and result orientation. Hello. Bitches are calling him, you know what I'm saying? Instigation. But I understand the scenario where because you have worked for 20 years, 30 years, and now this new guy knows your job better than you, you cannot just handle it.
Yeah.
And I understand that. Where I do have a problem with is because of that, you are making me look like I'm not good enough. That's where I have a problem with. Or you're looking my results and his results or her results, they are exactly the same, but you emphasize their result as if it's better. So basically it's patronizing in a sense.
Yeah, kind of passive aggressive.
Passive aggressive, yeah. And it was sad to see, but ageism, in that sense, it was very prevalent in that work job. However, also you guys, you have to understand that the university place, there is no young guys. Like, understand, I was the youngest there.
Just old hags and grandpas.
Do you know I was 24.
No disrespect, just jokes. Just jokes.
No, I was 24. The next person was 35. And then everybody above was like 50 and 60. Yeah. Of course, there will be this kind of conflicts that this young buck is making your job look like it's nothing.
It's too easy. Yeah.
It's too easy.
I mean, like that's how it appears. Like it makes them feel like that. It makes them feel like okay, what you did showcase that we are actually, working too much on something that's way too easy to be worked on, right? So I guess that kind of calls out also the fact that people assume that just because you have certain age, the older you are, the more expertise you have, your competence. I'm not saying that the people there don't have the competence. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying that people are saying like, okay, because you are younger, you should be less competent. But now that there is that juxtapositioning or that kind of how would I put it? Like that kind of like conflict in the way of like there's a I'm having a blackout. Like I mean, like there's that kind of like two beliefs going against each other. Yeah. Like okay, he is young, but on the other hand, he also knows what he's talking about.
Conflict of interest.
That as well. Yeah, they're contradicting. That's what I meant. They're contradicting a bit to each other, and they're like, okay, so this young, he shouldn't know these things, but now he knows these things. So what the fuck?
Can't win.
So I guess because they feel like, okay, he's actually even better. In some ways, they feel like he's a threat, equally good or even better. and now they don't like it because shit. I don't know why.
The problem I had it with, if I was the same age as them and I was doing this exact same thing, they would be, oh wow, look at you, 25. I'm abolishing you because of the fact that you cannot handle this. Like, you see, can't touch this.
Wow, the disrespect. He just, wow, okay. I see it like that. I see that. Will be remembered. This will be remembered. I feel, but no, but if you think about it, one reason to that, basically why they treated you that way, is the thought of kind of you're young, you're inexperienced. You kind of like, they cannot think of you being in like a higher state of knowledge and experience than them, basically. Because imagine if somebody who has done the work for like 20 years and somebody pulls up like with a 2-month experience and does their job better, of course it will create a little tension that, hold up, what the hell, like I'm supposed to be the senior one. So I kind of like get it in a way, because we're kind of like pre-trained in a way that anybody who has done certain type of job for long enough, they're experiencing it. Of course, that's like the base understanding of something. Like the longer you have done it, the most likely, the most or bigger, higher likeliness that you have like more knowledge on it. But then we have the certain type of people that, be doing shit for like 20 years and still in the end of the day, they turn out as bad as rookies. And trust me, I've seen that too. I've experienced the same type of not fully the same type of treatment, but I've seen like a kind of slight hinges or slight how would I say? Not like a direct like behavior toward me, but kind of like in a sideways. It's that okay? Passive aggressiveness, basically, in a way. So I kind of like get it in a way, but also it's kind of like a stupid way. But because it's so well integrated in our thought world, how we view somebody who's older and how somebody's younger. And actually, I wanted to ask y'all a question about it. How y'all have, because now we're kind of basically speaking in a work term. Yeah. But have y'all experienced it, example, in your friend relationships? How your friends treat you? Have you had like friend relationship where you're the younger individual or where you're the older individual, and how it differs between one another?
Do you have, or
you can go first?
Okay.
Y'all can start with overall, like example. Have y'all had even exact experience? Because most definitely, each of us have like that scenario where we're the younger one actually in that relationship, and also where we are the older one, and we kind of like, because I can. Well, personally, I can start if y'all don't know. Yeah. Well, of course, I have had this, like a lot of those scenarios. Well, in our situation, we're kind of like in the similar age group. It's, but when I mean by older one, it's usually like, let's say +5. Yeah. That's like automatically kind of brings you like in 2 different generations in a sense. Well, not really generation, but kind of like 2 different group of, even though we're classified as Gen Z, a lot of us who are born before 2000s, behave like, nah, we in that same generation, man. Y'all just younglings or some shit like that. But yeah, in my situation, I've got along with like both groups, like with the youngers and older ones. And of course, what I mentioned earlier, that we're kind of like pre-trained based on our culture, how you view somebody. I've had those scenery where I'm the older one, and when I'm speaking to the younger person, of course, I usually tend to treat them in the same like respectful manner. But at the same time, I have a second thought in my head when they speak something that kind of like has a conflict in my head, like it's not that it is constructive idea or constructive subject, but it kind of sounds goofy to my head. And I'm like, oh yeah, because they're young, because they're immature or some shit like that, You see, hey, no, but that's honestly, because the small separation in it is that when you are born in different time, you experience world slightly differently. Same to example, our parents, they have experienced life whole different than what we have. Because example, now in our era, we had smartphones. Our parents kind of like got to know smartphones when they were older, so it kind of like differs us a little bit. So that's how I'm like, y'all didn't get to listen to music the same way we did to get to listen to music. So you're kind of different, you know.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but every guy who had those flip phones or the old phones, when they wanted to listen to music, everybody knows what they do. They had to record.
Pull back to that one clip. Go back to like 1 minute 30. Let me clip it to have a ringtone. Bro, it was a good time. And a lot of kids nowadays haven't experienced that, so that's why you have that automatic thought of they belong in a different era. But of course, overall, like I mentioned earlier, because how we live in this culture, we kind of like tend to treat people in an equal way. And also when I have conversated with people who are older than me or hang out with older, they usually tend to tell me that they don't really feel that they're hanging with younger person. Okay. They kind of feel that I adapt into their like perspective. Okay. So that's probably something that I would say like a lot of people kind of missed out on. If you can adapt, your age don't really matter in a sense, yes, as long as you can adapt to what that person is, because adapt to their like thought world and how they would view certain things. So to me, usually hanging,
master of seduction.
Hey, you got, especially the older ladies, you know what I'm saying? Funny thing is, actually, this is segue to the subject, but funny thing is, I get along with older women much easier than with younger women.
I have to send you a video clip.
No, but for some reason, they connect with me much more easier, at least older ladies so far. Because the way I think and the way I react to people's, like, especially the younger ones, they no disrespect.
It's a maturity.
Yeah, maturity thing. Even though, funny thing is, even though the younger ones are like 20s nowadays, but they still feel like kind of young, in a way how they think.
Yeah, because of the social media.
Social media, well, that's one. But yeah, the one reason so far, the way I speak, way I think, and how I communicate with them, that's usually has been the one. And especially when I don't mention my age immediately, usually is the one that kind of pulls the rug underneath, like, wait, you that young? I'm like, yeah, yeah. But yeah, so that's that. So,
do you have any like examples, like actual examples that you can think of right now that you have been, for example, with the younger person or with the older person or both, where your age, when it was said, they automatically look at you like there was a slight difference, even though you had like you said, the maturity is there. You know how to talk to younger or older. You know how to put yourself in their shoes. But the moment you said that you are this much old,
kind of yes and no. Yes, in a way that. Well, okay, I can actually technically yes. I have to correct it right away because. Especially the one with younger ones, because
you like them young. You like them young.
We tried, but not my cup of tea for certain reasons. Let's say like that. I don't. Hey, plead the fifth. But hypothetically speaking, lawyer. While lawyers out here recording and making sure I don't say nothing wrong, but hypothetically, speaking with a younger person, especially somebody who's in my age group. What tends to happen in a lot of cases, it starts out nice and all that, and I've spoken with, people who are older than me who also tried have a little thing with younger person, like let's say 20s, people who are in 20s, early 20s or, above the legal age. Let's just make sure so nobody goes wild out there. But yeah, anybody who's above the legal age, so let's say that. So, it tends to be kind of like speaking to a child, let's be honest. Because, like we said, social media, the things phrases they say or certain terms they use, it kind of sounds goofy to somebody who wasn't like born in social media era. Like,
go ahead.
Yeah, like I said, like certain things, what they say, their thought work is fully like something that you think like, come on now, like, don't you have any better things? And they have like a short term attentiveness in a way. Attention span. And I mean, I don't blame them, but it's kind of like part of the modern world in a way. And a lot of them don't have depth into them in a way. No disrespect to younger ones, because like we said, of course there's the individual who are mature enough, even though they're young. So I'm not closing out those, but a lot of them exceptions. There's a lot of exceptions as well, but so far what I've noticed at least is that they might sound very interesting while texting to them, but when you hang out with them, you're like, yeah, this ain't it, boss. this ain't it. Like, come on. And then the other one is with the older person. You said when you mention your age. To me, it been like when you don't mention the age, they treat you like, oh, you're kind of like part of the same age group. But when you mention the age, there might not be a full like change in attitude, but you notice slight differences in like how they treat you. All of a sudden, you kind of start feeling like they're speaking to you as a kid, or and I'm like, hey, hypothetically, I'm like, if you go treat me like a kid, let me suck them titties too. What the heck?
Who said that? Who said that?
Hey, but let's be honest. Let's be honest.
Who said that?
I ain't even know.
Who said that?
I didn't even know, bro.
Who said that?
I didn't even know. Wait, let me check.
Yeah, it's not it.
Wait. Don't ask me why. Yeah, we go.
Who said that?
Yeah. But like I said, like there's a slight change in the attitude when you mention your age, because usually it kind of sticks to their head at that moment. They start thinking about the number rather than what you are as a person. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of the same how we treat like younger ones. As long as they don't mention their age, you kind of like treat them as equal in a way. Well, you treat them equal, but not like as immature or kid or etc. etc. So yeah, but even though the older ladies be like, you young and you just gotta keep it.
You know
what it is. Flirting with older ladies. That's
You mentioned that you always try to, and you can do that. You try to step inside their shoes. You try to see their perspective in the world. That's the first step of seduction.
Hey,
I'm serious. You can think about that. Why is it? Well, because if you know that how they think and feel and look at the world, then, well, I'm gonna just leave it at that.
What you trying?
I'm just gonna bringing you down. I actually don't know what I'm talking about.
What you trying to say, my boy? What you trying to say?
You're talking like an expert based on experience.
What you trying to mean by that? What you mean by that?
All I'm trying to say.
Repeat that from the beginning.
What you mean by that?
All I'm trying to say is that you're seducing all the ladies.
Hey, I might be seducted as well. So hey, it's a game.
He was talking about quite a lot of stuff. All of a sudden, you were just seducing some ladies.
I don't know
either. Hey, I played the fifth. Hey, but hey, like we say, it's seduction, and you might be seduced bad, but wait, I was thinking about something. Oh yeah, on top of that, it's also not just quote unquote seduction, because to me, seduction. When you say seduction, it also a lot of cases it means the sexual one.
People automatically
they assume.
Do you mean persuasive?
Well, kind of in a way, because the thing that I got to hear, what a lot of like older person appreciate as well, is that I listen to them. Like I give them the full attention. Even older guys, I listen to them, and also. I don't know how true it is, but some of them be saying I'm emotionally intelligent, which a lot of them lack even in their age group. So that's something I'm like, okay, so I guess I'm doing something right in order for the older groups to enjoy my company in a way. So I'm like, and of course humor and so on. Because the other thing is, even though you don't mention your age, the way you make them feel also can tell them how old are you, because a lot of them also been mentioning that when they hang out or talk with me, they feel younger. Again,
You see this guy? You cannot escape this, brother. But yeah, go on.
Oh yeah. Plead the fifth. This is hypothetical again. Hypothetical again. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's that. Hey. Not on me anymore. We have time to move on. Y'all experiences, because y'all be bugging me like that. So back to what.
It's your fault.
Shut up. Plead the fifth. So back to what you. what you mentioned earlier about your own experience with like younger and how with the older one, and also when you mention your age, has there been difference? So how would you say in your situation, how have you experienced it? Or
Me first. All right. I have the same, like me. I have the same experience with, for example, if I meet an older person, I have it so easy to talk to them or with them, but also with the younger person. Like I don't have this kind of, because of course in our culture, it's like a custom. You're older, immediately you're respected. That's all. In Finland, I haven't seen that much, but there still is like
Some sort of.
there still is a.
you don't talk back.
Yeah, for example,
that's true.
that's one good example, and in my opinion, it's wrong in certain part because, for example, we have some long line of cousins. They don't deserve even if you beat them, it's a service. I'm serious. If you give them an ass whooping, it's a service to community. You help people around there if you beat them up. That's kind of people they are.
Advertising abusively right now. Somebody's taking it
Though,
literally.
listen,
So what his last name was again?
listen. There's a difference to. I'm gonna give you an example. Actually, great example. You both know I had a other cousin, who had a brain surgery. He had a tumor inside his head. Tough guy. Hope him the best. And he's in his 30s, best years of his life. And this guy, think about the man, tall, like 6'3", 190 centimeters. He is over 100 kilograms, pure muscle. This guy is God-believing man, very handsome, and he has that charm, like he knows how to talk to people. And this guy got a tumor. God bless. God knows best. And now, after the surgery, the guy was having troubles, of course. He was having troubles with eating and sleeping, and he couldn't talk. He couldn't walk, but he remembered everything. He knowed everything. And these other cousins, these guys wanted to come see, of course, if one family members, at least in our culture, is if one family member is this kind of situation, everybody tries to go when they can to go and meet and greet and etc. These guys came, they said exact, and I quote, why do you just leave him? He doesn't have anything anymore. Think about to the parents. I end the quote. To the parents of this boy who had a brain surgery and now is recovering, he's in a bad state. This cousin comes up with their family, comes up and says, leave the boy, he doesn't have anything left. And now you're saying me I'm advertising that abuse? I think
abuse, if you ask me.
Exactly,
give an ass whooping for one for the team, bro. One for the team.
That in our culture they say that ass whooping has come from paradise.
Hey, the whole team can do it, and next thing you go hear in the news, a whole group jump one family member. What the hell?
But basically, before I segued into this, I've noticed in my part where you remember, for example, if some older lady meets me, it's automatically who is this young man? He's so
seductive, charismatic.
They always say that he is my testament. Actually,
my guy was wild.
I didn't do anything,
and I wasn't doing anything either. Bro.
Exactly.
I was just hanging
I
around.
played the fifth.
I played the sixth.
and I have always had this, especially from teens until up to this now, that I have an ability to talk to people in a way that they don't feel that they are younger or older. I can talk especially children. Like, I don't know, have you seen, but children are very smart when you talk to them, like to heart. If they fear you or they don't like you or whatever, they will not like open up and tell you stories and that. But if they trust you and they like you and they want to be around you, children will like have a real conversation, and you'll be like, well, I cannot have this conversation with older people. What's up?
What's Epstein type of shit? Well,
No.
But no. But it is one thing is to that, as they say, if you want to hear honest truth, speak to kid. Speak to a child, because they do not have censorship in a way. So
they will let you know if they don't like you.
Exactly. So
yeah, you have seen.
If you have that kid that avoids you, just know that something's wrong with you.
You have seen the video that I don't remember how it was, but basically the kid was in the back and the mother was like arguing with her husband, and the husband said something about fat. And the kid was like, "But mom, you are fat."
Exactly. They don't like censor. Even though they love you, they don't censor it because they're not like at that point of love. They still haven't like been trained into that say bullshit.
Yeah, like even my sister actually works in kindergarten, and she gets to hear a lot of these situations. And she was wearing a sweater, like this winter sweater, so those kind of things, very furry kind of thing. Yeah. So there was this 5-year-old boy. And he just bluntly told my sister, "You are such a furball."
You ugly.
And then she didn't even say it. It was like just instantly bluntly saying, you look like a furball."
Something wrong with you. Something wrong with you.
And then my sister told, of course, about it to the other people there, and then he got mad to my sister. Because he didn't realize how he had told. It wasn't like his intention wasn't bad. Of course, he was just saying what was on his mind.
Exactly.
And because of course, he didn't realize. Okay, he cannot say that. He says, "What happened? Why did you rat me out? Traitor."
Like that was. I would say that was what children would be thinking. Like, I told you this because I think that you look like this. And then all of a sudden...
That's why kids are happier, because they don't really save up anything in their head. They just let it out and move on. Move on with life. You ugly, bye. Bye. Not like some people out here like, you pretty, but they're in their head like, man, look at that ugly bitch.
Yeah, when you meet that ugly baby and you try to be like nice.
Imagine how different the world would be if everyone was exactly like a child and saying everything.
Man.
So how y'all like about it? Man, absolute dog shit, blah, man. Whoever invented this is a dog shit person too.
It would be good, but it also would be bad because in some cases you know how to be quiet. You have to know how to be quiet. Yeah. But then in some cases you also need to know how to speak your mind. So it kind of works in both ways. Yeah. But I'm gonna tell you, because I was a trainer, can I say? When I was training the kids for basketball. I don't know if I have told you. Yeah. Basically, I trained like juniors under the 18 years old to play basketball. I was the coach. And I remember that there was a guy who was clearly older than me. He played also basketball. But now he's coaching because his son is also playing the basketball game. And the kids always wanted me to coach, not him. Now the problem is this coach understood that, okay, the kids want him not because he is more experienced than this other guy, but because I am the guy who can play ball. I can show you exactly that I am good at balling, and therefore children respected that. And even the parents, when they came to see the practices that I did, they were kind of impressed that how their kid is listening to me so attentively.
And the rest were like, woo!
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, everybody was going crazy.
like even one parent told me like, how you do this? I'm like, well, kid will respect you based on who you are, not what you've done. The kid doesn't know what you've done. They don't care. Can you ball? Are you good at it? That's the end of the story. And that was the great perspective to see. But I've been in a good ways in the both sides. I've been in good places, but also I've been in the bad places where a younger kid, I hang out with them, and everything that they say, they're not even trying to show respect, or they are not trying to be more mature around me. And I'm looking at it like, well, I'm wasting my time with you. You had such a bad education in your house that when you go out of the house and you meet a guy who is at tip top, I'm at tip top shape. I'm a tip top thing, whatever, you know what I'm saying?
No, he's advertising himself again.
And
man whore.
you all know. And you come up to me and we start talking, and then you don't showcase any kind of remorse or anything. It just makes me look like I'm your father at that point.
Look, I'm your father.
Or I'm your big brother.
Look, I'm your father.
You get what I'm saying? Like, it's bad. It makes me feel bad because it's not my job to educate you. But then I also have been in that other place where he talked about, where you are with the older person and they don't absolutely realize that you are younger than them in a sense.
At least noticeably.
Noticeably. Like, of course they know that, okay, you are somewhere in 30s. Like, they think that.
Somewhere,
Like, they start to think that. But then you tell, like, I'm 24, 25.
What? Yo!
You're that young?
Oh, baby!
But you,
shit then.
like, the first thing that they say, but you talk like an elder man. What you talking about?
I grown old soul, bro.
Also,
Young body, old soul.
that's the first thing. But then the absolute next step is that maybe the behavior totally doesn't change, but the attitude towards that conversation changes. But he's young. That's the first thing. The only way that I've seen that has been debunked, that if there is a scenario after scenario after scenario, like back to back to back to back, where they don't have any way else to say that I'm a child, but they cannot say that.
Have you noticed with that usually it's not, it doesn't really, at least personally, it doesn't really happen that much with guys, or like older guys. It usually happens with older females. Of course, exception if we're talking about like elderly, like male characters. Example, let's say my friend's father, or etc. etc. Well, no, not
Grandpa.
really. Well, grandpa or some. Well, that don't really count in a way because they already know like you young. But you know, when I mean like somebody who's like, let's say 10 years older than you, and usually when it's, at least what I've noticed, when it's guy and he gets to hear your age, he don't really care in a sense. Like they might be surprised in a sense, unless they have some other personal issues, but they would be surprised like, oh wow, I thought you older than that. But they will kind of like treat you still the same way, because at least in my own personal experience, guys don't really give a fuck in a sense. If they cool with you, they cool with you. That's it. Yeah. But it usually tend to happen with like older females, when they might be truly interested in you, and you know. Plead the fifth. Plead the fifth. But anyway, anyway, you know, when you know, they might be interested in you hypothetically, and because they don't realize you're that young, they show that they're interested in you. But the moment you mention your age, shift happens all of a sudden. Oh shit! Oh, you like that, huh? Like the changes, like we said, the attitude might not be that visible immediately, but you start notice like slight changes in a way, like they don't like interact with you that actively anymore, or the tone how they speak to you is like, it's not directly like disrespectful, but it kind of like condescending. So that's what I've at least noticed hypothetically between guys and females, you know, who are older.
What is interesting also is that you're talking with this person who has this ageism thing happening, and you prove out in any way that you're competent to talk about whatever, but then they clutch on to the fact that you are not the age, you're younger, and they make it a huge deal out of, okay, so but you're young, yeah, so
they have that issues.
Not even that. Actually, the other reason is it's the social pressure. Because, let's say hypothetically we move on one step to another. They might not care fully about your age, but they care to in a degree that what about their friends? What about their social circle? Because it is kind of seen if older person is dating somebody who's noticeably younger.
Or not even about dating.
Well, not really dating, hanging out in a.
Hanging out or taking advice from someone who is younger.
Yeah, it seemed kind of like, bro, you should be the one who knows more. But kind of like what you were about to say, that it doesn't really work that way, because you might have lived this world for like, let's say, 50 years, and during that 50 years you haven't really observed any, usable data in your skull.
It can happen.
It has happened.
It has happened to me. It has happened to you. And
Like-
I bet money it has happened to you.
Yeah.
You meet a person who is much more experienced. Let's say, for example, talking to a camera. I bet money anyone twice my age come in front of the camera, if they can speak like me, whatever. A normal regular guy or normal regular girl in front of the camera speaking like us any day. Regular, normal.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying?
Better money on it. Though. So put the fund me page down there. It's
But you get what I'm saying. Like, we are talking. They have talked more than us because they have lived more than us.
let's.
Well, you can talk more without really saying anything. You can. It's not really about how much you're talking about. You can talk a lot of shit, but you can still say a lot without saying anything. But then, when you really take your time to read, experience life, go there and actually get shit done, and actually, get fucked here and there. Also, that also kind of gives you a very different perspective of things, and then you are able to kind of leverage that. And then they're gonna be like, "How do you know all this stuff?"
Because I've been through shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the thing. That's what I'm
But
trying to say.
about that is also the adaptability, how well you adapt. Because some people, as we say, might have done, example, certain type of job for 50 years, etc., and they might be full on experience that they have done something routinely for such a long time. Yes, we cannot take from them. They have hinged the basics till mastery. But then comes out the one guy who, is like open-minded. Man, put that goddamn hand down, man. What the fuck? Comes to work and, they adapt to the scenery quickly and also are willing to learn and try to actually improve the data they have. Because somebody who has done certain type of thing for long enough also have the downfall of doing something in routine and never experimenting out of the routine.
Yeah. And about that, I was actually thinking, like, you were talking about how in your workplace where you were at, like you were doing equal to better work to what they were doing.
In less time.
Less time. I think like the difference there is, I remember reading this from the book called Breaking Out of Homeostasis. The author it's a really great book. I recommend you read it. The author was talking about the difference between why people in their 20s are able to create more ideas, why they make more accomplishments. It's because when you're in your 20s, you don't have that huge amount of data in your use. So therefore, when you enter a new industry, you're more open-minded because you're not so fixated on a certain industry's rules. But eventually, when you work there 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, eventually you start buying into the rules of them. So your expertise gets more sophisticated in that specific area, and therefore you're not able to leverage that amount of creativity because you're starting to get more fixated on the rules. But because when you don't have rules, you're able to see from the perspective of, let's say you are going to sales from what would be a great example? Like, let's say from basketball. I don't know, like what I know about basketball, I know there's a lot of a certain philosophy you approach to it, and if you're able to approach different industry from very different perspective, everyone knows that you are able to you're able to approach it from very different. Yeah.
I can give you an example. Basketball, you approach it with at this moment. So therefore, if you miss 100 shots, the next shot, it doesn't have any effect because you have missed those shots. Yeah. So the mentality is that you live in the moment, in a sense. Yeah. And that doesn't affect the way you play.
Yeah.
But now you bring that into a sales industry.
Yeah.
It means that no matter how many times you have been rejected, the next one, same as the thing.
Exactly, and I think like if you would bring basketball mindset into sales, in sales there is more like maybe preparation and that kind of thing, and now you're coming from the place of like living in the moment, and you're taking more risks in situation. What that can do to your sales performance can be really great. Whereas someone routinely working there, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with someone who is following the rules, but it can bring very different energy to the company if you're coming from a very new industry to a different industry. So that's the point. Like when you don't have that experience, you have more creativity to leverage.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
I probably agree right with what Pyry just said, the willing to take risk, because when you're, as we know, the younger you are, the more risk you tend to take. And I was about to actually say the same thing as what you said about sport is usually somebody who has done it for long enough, you are like masters, they have mastered the basics, the fundamentals of whatever they're doing, but after like you said, after a certain period of time, they do not really re-experiment with what they've learned or mastered technically. They just keep doing what they have done because they go with the thought of it has worked, so why change it anymore? But somebody who kind of like comes in a rookie way, they have like that, okay, let me test it out, let me find out, hold up. And especially when there's somebody who's open-minded to like absorb the knowledge from somebody who's. This is why we have that, when you have to respect your elders, because yes, they have more knowledge than you, but at the same time, you are kind of more dangerous than somebody who's older than you in a sense, because you are a clean slate who can absorb the same data. Let me help you out, because my brain thoughts is running faster than my mouth, but basically it works with the same concept as books. Whoever wrote that book basically had to take their time and experience and whatever to write that book. And you as a reader basically have a fast lane to that knowledge by reading that book. And that's basically how it works. And yeah, basically.
And just so remember, this is the first time in history of humankind that you have technology in a sense that you can just, well, you have used it. You have used it. I have certainly used it. I'm not even like trying to get away. With this device, I made the exact same work that they did in 2 days. Do you know why? 3 days, 2 days, different tasks, different things, different projects. I don't
it's just left, right.
Like, because I didn't see it as, like you said, it wasn't like a routine for me, but more so, I didn't see it like a challenging task or anything. It just was, sometimes I didn't like the task, but that's the work.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. But for example, I put that same task in AI. Who does faster than AI as a man or as a woman? There's no way.
There's no way, because efficiency.
Efficiency. And they will have what accuracy? 100%.
And as we said, as why younger people are willing to use the AI is because we're much more experimental and we're much more open to the changes in a way. Because, as at least what we've noticed in school, nowadays they're kind of slightly getting into it like, okay, this new creation, the ChatGPT, etc., etc. I'm like, bro, if you knew, a lot of us been managing it since the day one. But yeah, because example teacher, professor, etc., they're kind of like used to that same certain pattern, and it's much more familiar to them. Yes, it's the familiarity that you rather be doing something that you already kind of know and have mastered than retry something new, which could like rewrite your whole like knowledge base in a sense.
Yeah,
and yeah, that's it.
And then when we talk about like when you meet an opposite gender,
I don't know nothing about that, bro. I don't know nothing about that.
Hypothetically, when you meet, in my case, a lady who is older or younger.
In his case.
Yeah, hypothetically. This is all hypothetical. This doesn't happen.
Yes. This conversation is hypothetical.
Whole hypothetical conversation. It really don't happen in real life,
Yeah,
I've noticed that I have the same, hypothetically, I have the same sense that I can really put myself in your skin, but not in that inside their skin. Like, you get what I'm saying? Yeah, inside your shoes, but there's also inside. Put yourself in in their skin, but nothing like that. You're nasty. Go ahead. You're nasty.
I say
Commercial break.
I ain't say no. This guy on some bullshit. I ain't even say nothing.
Hey, you're nasty.
No. You nasty. You thinking about something that I haven't even said. So.
Well, what you think?
Cause I've been thinking, cause my brain be thinking and brain be working, so I constantly be thinking. But why you thinking about the nasty thing? What you were thinking about, and expected me to think about the nasty thing. So why you thinking about nasty thing?
I wasn't thinking about the nasty thing. I thought that you were thinking about the nasty thing. So therefore, I tried to manipulate the way that we don't say the nasty thing, and we don't do the nasty thing.
Yeah, but that's gaslighting. That just shows that you were thinking about the nasty thing and expecting me to also be thinking about the nasty thing. But you just showed that you were the one thinking about the nasty thing. So in the end of the day, you're the one who's pulling the nasty one.
I'm not pulling the nasty one. Do you know why? Because I haven't shown one slide of thing where I say Diddy party.
No. Hey. Oh yeah, we haven't heard about the Diddy party today. Oh well, because there no party like Diddy party. There ain't no party like Diddy party.
Crazy, brother. And do you know what's the worst part? I heard some kids say that.
Really?
I'm not playing. They were like 15, 16 years old.
There ain't no party like Diddy party.
That's crazy.
You should have mentioned to them, bro. Trust me, you don't want to be the one to be in the party.
I looked at them like, nah, don't say
Right. You be telling about all that Diddy party, but imagine you be the one in the party. Hey. You see what happened to Justin Bieber?
Damn, he went there. Have you seen the video where Pitbull and T-Pain are dancing and they're the only one who haven't been in a Diddy party?
In a Diddy party?
Yeah. T-Pain and Pitbull, they haven't been in there.
Hey, God bless, man.
And they just dancing in there.
Hey, that shows, because, I mean, it explains why T-Pain, after a certain period of time, he just disappeared, like, from the...
I'm telling you.
Hey, that's what we analyzed with this one guy, that, you know, any artist that you notice that all of a sudden just disappeared from the list.
You know,
they haven't, sold their booty cheeks or... They haven't sold their booty cheek, and they're in the clear waters, but because they haven't sold their booty cheek, they haven't been pushed out that well. Yeah, but anybody who just pops out of nowhere and all of a sudden flashing money and all that,
like I said,
some had to be sold. Nothing is free. Nothing is free.
You get what I'm saying? Like, especially if they don't have any talent.
Bro,
you have seen
the new artists, the young artists, like
young artists don't know how to sing, don't know how to write, don't know how to. They are just there. You be like,
hey, oh man, that's that 2020 magic. You know what I'm saying? That's that 2020 magic. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Don't trust. Don't say the names, but certain big artists. You ain't trust them, man. Man, after the election, man, the respect that I've lost to certain artists, crazy. Hollywood is whack, man. Marvel actors are whack too.
Have you seen there's one Tom Cruise movie that has that same scenario where they are just people with masks and
nowadays they're pushing it in all movies. Like I noticed even the Squid Game, that the Korean series. Yeah, even that show is showing that this thing be going on.
Yeah. But yeah,
commercial break. So
back to the subject in hand. I've seen in the dating scene that if you are with the no, not like that.
You're in the skin.
Not like that.
That's the less word.
Not
So
like.
we're still talking hypothetically.
Hypothetical, yeah, for sure.
When you're dating skin, how do you know what it's like? Or do you know?
It's hypothetical. I'm not saying it happened. It has happened. I'm not saying it hasn't happened. Yeah. Maybe it can happen.
It could be.
Yeah, it could be. But basically, what I've seen that if you are with the older, God damn. If you are with the older lady, it's kind of the same. That until they don't know your age, they are very interested. They're like, "Hey, come here. I want to talk to you. I want to be around you.
Hey boy,
come here." But then the moment she knows that you are younger, even by one year, it automatically puts that in their mind, actually. That's the problem. Because you're still the same guy. Like, you're not changing.
Not anymore.
But in her eyes, you're changed. Nah, he's young.
Not anymore. That chapter
Babe,
go long
yeah,
gone.
and they talk to you like you're a kid. And you look at them. Do you know what's the worst part? Hypothetically. Do you know what's the worst part? The worst part is that you look at them and you say to yourself, I'm much more mature than you. I'm smarter than you. I'm stronger than you. I'm richer than you.
Hey, hold on, what? He's flexing.
What? No, but that's the reality of it. And they still look at me like I'm below them.
Yeah, key.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the... Well, obviously the problem is now on you. I cannot control how many years I have on me.
Well, I identify myself as 60 all of a sudden.
You get what I'm saying?
So this is really an insecurity thing because now they are
I believe,
turning on you like, oh, you're so young, you don't know shit. Although you just proved in every way that you know.
Every single way. They cannot say one thing that they can say, okay, but this is the reason because he's young. No. I told you all my competences. I can told you all my experiences. I have showcased you that I'm more of a man that you have ever seen.
Like,
Older
he
man.
started with the
All I'm saying, hypothetically.
big player and all that.
And it still has that, because it has happened to me where this young lady, can I say it like that?
Hypothetically.
Hypothetically. No, this has actually happened to me.
Hypothetically.
It's not a hypothetical because we met. No, this is actually not a hypothetical. I have told you this. We met in a workplace, and the guys, you know, when you meet a lady, you have always this kind of nervousness or anything.
Hypothetically.
I got no experience. Or I'm virgin.
But-
what?
When,
You virgin too? Is it like spreading disease or something?
Nah,
everybody's
Like,
like,
first it was,
I went to church. I'm virgin again.
Yeah, now there are two virgins.
oh man.
I went to church. I got blessed. Clean slate.
And-
you know what? At some point, I think I will also
You
turn.
join the club
Hey,
too.
let's go. Let's go.
You go to church. You get a clean slate. You can pull to everybody. I'm virgin again.
So from now on, we'll be the virgin opinion of virgin outlaws.
Virgin trio. Virgin musketeers.
One for all and all for one. Haha. And basically, you meet a person and you feel calmness and peace, and you feel like you have known them for so long. Even when you just met, you know that they are the one that you want to commence in the future. But I remember she followed me on Instagram. I followed back.
Hypothetical.
I added her in Snap. She added me back. She sent me a Snap. I sent her back. Then she sent me a Snap where she asked, "How old are you?"
All enough.
Do you know
Whoa.
what? Do you know what she's? And then she put this. I don't usually ask this. I immediately knew that she's interested. She wants some.
Legal.
And of course, like she was older than me.
Yeah, but she asked that question. I answered legal. Legal.
And
That's all you need to know.
I saw through that her intention was to see that am I older than her or not. Like that was the whole reason why she asked. And now I had two choices because I can sense that this woman is not younger than me. So therefore, a year too older. Which, by the way, she was 2 years older than me.
That's still decent. That's manageable years.
That's the problem. That was
Talk
the
to me
problem.
about somebody who's like 20, 10 years old.
That was the problem that I had with myself. Like, why are you treating me like this? I'm just 2 years younger than you. But I'll
We're
showcase.
still in the 90 group. Come on
Yeah,
now.
I have showcased you exactly that not only I am competent as a man, but also I'm much more mature than a man. That anyway, exactly. But
Straight to something.
But immediately when she said that, I asked myself, okay, do I want to lie to this woman
Yeah, definitely.
or do I want to keep it like clean? And I had two choices, right?
I'm 16.
If I, oh god damn, if I lied to her, I would do a GTD, but I didn't. I said to myself, no, she's a nice lady. She actually wants to know me. I will not lie to her. And immediately when I told the age,
Bye-bye.
the attraction,
Wrap the tape.
listen, the attraction was there. She had that thing where she wanted to be around and be like that. But the downfall started little by little, where,
Harvin fight.
well, you know, she knew that what kind of man I am, but still, I don't know, she had that thing where she couldn't just get past it.
Unfortunately.
And think about just 2 years. We're not talking about 5 or 10. I understand then, of course, 10 years is a little bit too much, in my opinion. Even if you're just knocking boots.
What he just say? What he just say? Knocking boots. Okay.
Knocking boots, like
Wrecking them ankle
loose, baby. I've noticed that, but also I've noticed that when it comes to younger ladies, I don't have the patience because of the fact that I feel so much smarter than them. That when you have a conversation, like, yeah, you have a nice butt and a great smile, but what else?
What you got going on, your baby girl?
What else? Like, you cannot put 2 sentences together. You cannot talk.
What kind of people are we talking to?
And normal, regular people. That's how I look at it.
Two sentences. What?
Like, I don't want to hear about Temptation Island. Like, what the hell is that? I don't want to hear it. I don't
You
want
hearing that from the youngers?
from younger girls.
What I've been hearing from the youngers is period, per, slay, whatever bullshit going on.
What kind of people you are hanging with?
The younger one. Usually the island people are the older ones nowadays.
No,
I don't know
those
about
are
you,
young.
But the ones that I've been who be speaking about the island usually tend to be older ones. So, well, you be there.
No. And I've noticed that when it comes to dating, when it comes to work experience, I've seen that if it's like a job, a minimum wage job, nobody cares. Absolutely nobody cares what kind of age you are. If it's a minimum wage job. If it's more like a bureaucracy, for example, where I was in university, yeah, they care a little bit because they look at themselves that they are experts, have this, or they have that knowledge, that very powerful knowledge. But there's a new guy who comes and dominates, and now it's a problem. But these are my experience, I would say, to the question. What about you, my guy?
So the question earlier was about the experience with the ageism with somebody who's younger than you and with somebody who's older than you, and how has it affected or changed after you like told your age? Because usually in that situation, it's usually the change happened with somebody who's older than you, not younger.
Yeah.
So have you had any experience like that, or have you had experience nearby by somebody who you're close with or anything like that?
I had also the experience that you said with guys. I had that experience.
That
they look at you that you are younger, so therefore I have that experience.
That they don't really
Yeah.
respect you in a way.
Yeah, and I'm looking at it like, dude, you know that I can kill you if I want to.
I'm like,
You get what I'm saying?
but funny thing, usually that it doesn't really happen.
But
that, like,
it usually doesn't happen. That's true. Like, it's much more common with females. Only if it's like a great mama. So
mamas usually tend to. Hey, plead the fifth.
but
The question was, have I experienced ageism to
have you
either
experienced
direction?
that the moment you have told your age, not maybe the behavior directly, but there was some part that it changed.
Well, maybe there has been, but I would not really to the point where I would have like noticed like clear change or anything like that. To me, like I felt like many people, well, at least few people have told me that I look much younger than I actually am. That's that's the closest one I've heard ever. Like last year, I was having a photo shoot, and there was a guy. I told him my age. You look like 20 years old. So
you know what I'm saying?
yeah, but that was pretty much it. After that, I didn't even notice that much difference in the way he posed. I guess he was being professional, so therefore he wouldn't be like, "Oh, you're 25 years old, so you know what? You forget about it." You know, so has never been like that kind. I had never had that kind of experience where my age would have like caused a rift or anything positive. Not that much, at least to my recollection. I don't remember that much, like, or maybe I haven't really cared that much to point it out at any point. I just feel like I've just been talking to anyone, and if they ask me about my age, I say, okay, I'm this and this old, and then and then we just carry on as if like it was never an issue. But maybe it's a culture thing. I don't know. Like maybe I just don't care enough about it.
Yeah.
It could be that.
Yeah.
But to me, because to me, yeah, if you know what you're talking about, I don't. At least if I turn the role around, I cannot hear. Okay, someone is younger than I expected or older than I expected. I don't make it a huge deal. If I know that he has the experience, competence, I don't really care what is his age.
Yeah.
I'm more impressed. The younger he is, and more he's able to point out his competence. Of course, I'm listening out. I don't care what is his age, because I know that age doesn't matter shit. You can be 50 years old and know nothing about something.
Yeah.
You can pretend that you don't know a lot.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts.
That's actually true. That really with the age thing, you gotta treat people in a way that even if they were younger than you, they could be much more wiser as well, even though they haven't experienced life, quote unquote, that much.
Yeah, but that's just a fallacy, right? You just expect it because you're old, you should know more.
Yeah, like it doesn't work like that.
Yeah, it doesn't work, but still somehow I guess that's just from the time of very, very long time. I guess it's because in Finland, Finnish families, at least my father was that kind of authoritarian in the way that you say my word is your law. My word is your law. You say, you don't do what I do what I say. So I guess that kind of comes from the, it comes from that place, because I'm older than you, I'm your authority, I know better than you, shut the fuck up. So it's kind of like same thing, like because I'm older than you, you shouldn't question me, that kind of thing. Yeah. But when there's that guy who knows more, actually has experienced things, and he's actually able to be open-minded about it, it causes rift. But to me, to answer your question, honestly speaking, I don't think I have had that much problems with that age thing.
What about dating?
Dating?
Hypothetically.
Or not really. Even with dating, maybe there have been few occasions where I've named my age, but they never we never got to talk about my age that much.
All right. So their behavior hasn't changed.
Yeah, not that much. No, in my opinion, not. Maybe I've just been unaware about it then. But
it's like, I see none, I hear none.
Yeah, because I think I just carry it on the conversation because I never make a huge deal out of age. I just don't see it as something like, oh, well, you're younger, so I don't care about you anymore. Go away. Hush. Hush. Be gone. Get out of here. So you are not in your 30s, but in your 20s. Get out of here. So I don't think I have gotten that kind of treatment or vice versa. So yeah, I don't really have that much to say about it.
Yeah, but you have grown up in that sense, right? Well, of course, if you are in the family and you have a father, of course, his word was the rule. Yeah. But like you said, you didn't have that thing where just because they are older, you respect them.
Yeah. No.
But you respect them out of the character, out of the competence.
What they provide or what they're able to show.
So, and that's actually admirable trait because like I told the story before, those kind of people, they don't deserve respect. They don't deserve even to be close to another human being, let alone...
What? Oh, yeah, they're cousins.
Yeah, the cousins. Well, of course, they are like cousins from a long lineage. Like if we trace, we have to go from so many guys. But basically what I'm trying to say is those kind of people, they do exist and they are older. I'm not respecting. Now, at this moment, just because you're older, I will not respect you.
Backhand you, man.
If you really need to appeal to your age, I'm older than you. Shut the fuck up. That's the weakest level of authority you can ever have. Compared to, let's say, you are showcasing, for example, in basketball. Yeah. You go there and showcase. You are able to do what you said you were gonna do. Of course, there's no question that you are actually you know what you're talking about. So you cannot really question it. But I refuse to believe that. I identify you as wrong. I identify that you don't know what you're talking about.
Especially in sports, because there is a young guy. They have more energy, they have more capacity, they have more wide eyes. They will cook you. Like especially in basketball, they don't care that you're older. I'ma cook you.
Yeah.
But actually, that reminds me of that time you and me were actually boxing. There was like one guy who claimed that he had been boxing for 7 years.
Oh yeah.
But the way he was throwing the punches, not to kind of like ridicule anyone or kind of put down anyone, but the way he was throwing punches was pretty much comparable to someone who had just started.
7 years, trust me. Was he counting the 7 year in a way that the gaps in between? Also,
I don't know, but
he had that half a year break as well.
But you know, but the way you punch in the beginning is pretty much like oof, something like that. You don't really know what you're doing, but you're just throwing punches and you think you're doing something right. You think you look tough or whatever you think.
Yeah.
But what really happens is that you're not progressing. You're just kind of whatever you're doing, but you're not really making progress.
Improving the shitty.
You believe in the fallacy that you're actually making progress, but you're not really. But then you kind of claim like, oh, I'm been boxing for 7 years.
Big dog.
That was my problem because when that day I was there and I saw that guy, I immediately knew he's not a fighter. He hasn't been boxing. Clear, like you can see. You have boxed before. You see it.
I saw it when we were in the ring. Immediately.
Do you know what's the worst part? When this guy said, I boxed for 7 years.
You're talking dog years
Like,
or human years?
I don't know what years, brother. I don't know where he has boxed. But if you throw a punch from here like this, you haven't boxed for 7 years. Clearly. And
He might, but boxing his garage, not looking in the mirror or some shit like that.
the thing that Piri said, we are not ridiculing anything or judging anything because we don't know his story. But what we are trying to say is that this kind of attitude carries on also in work life, also in dating, also in sports, where you have been in this situation where you have done something for so long, but you don't have the actual competence for it. You don't have the right knowledge. Or worst case scenario, you have the competence, you have the knowledge, but you are unwilling, like you said, to do the new things, to experience the new things. And that comes, of course, that comes with age. You don't have the same energy that you have in 20s.
Young bug. That's what we call it, young bug.
Young blood.
Young blood.
The only way I can see like age working to your service or actually helping you is when you say, okay, I've been doing this for this amount of time, but then you name out your accomplishments. Okay, this is what I've accomplished during that time. Then I can work it, but I can never see like the time itself as some meter of competence for you.
Yeah.
It never works by itself, and if it does, well, let me tell you, you're not. Maybe read some books, or
To me, somebody who's older is basically what I said earlier. It's kind of like a book, written book that is already there for me to absorb the knowledge what I need from you, because you kind of like have gone through it in a sense that I can like basically go through it in a faster pace without doing the same mistakes you did. Because yes, somebody can say that they have done something for 100 years or some shit like that, but I can learn the same shit that you learned for 100 years in a shorter period of time because I'm learning from what you did and what you did wrong and avoiding those and so on and so on. So yes, in a sense, of course you gotta respect somebody who's older than you because they have that.
Yeah, we are not saying that.
It's not like age, like your age has anything to do with your competence. Like even if, no matter what your starting point, you don't need to be disrespectful anyways. So it shouldn't be even questioned, right?
Let me check.
And
Let me check
also-
how much. Sorry. Let me check how much we have.
Yeah, I gotta
Yeah.
bounce soon.
Yeah.
But also, because as we said, the background as well, that you have been taught to respect people who are older than you. Of course, I understand it well because, they've been in this planet Earth longer than me. They have seen way more sunsets and sunrises than what I have. But also, it doesn't remove the fact that even though they have been longer here, it doesn't mean that they have used their time efficiently or in a way that it is something. But out of the respect that they have been in this so-called planet Earth longer than me, of course I understand that I gotta know my section. That I'm a newcomer in a way.
Yeah, you can exist without living.
Yeah.
Right.
That's true. You can just be farting away.
Exactly, because imagine
Well put, well put.
Imagine somebody that has lived their life for because I've seen those people as well who've been like, let's say 30, 50 years, whatever. They have existed in this world. And then there's this younger person who has lived for, let's say, 20 years. And during that 20 years, they have done most of the shit, like traveled the world, like helped society, whatever, made achievement, etc., etc. Which one would you consider that have used their time and age efficiently?
Good question.
In a sense, but even in that scenario, I wouldn't take it out as even though whoever lived 20 years has done everything correctly in a sense to go and disrespect the older person, because the older guy is still in the end of the day they have seen more years than what that 20-year person has seen, and they still in the end of the day have certain experiences that the younger person cannot claim to have or experience or even maximum.
Yeah, but we need to remember, I think we already brought it up, but each generation has their own limitations in a way. Like they had different way of viewing the world, different way of thinking, because, well, they had different advantages in their use. Now we are living in a time of technology, and we have AI, all of these things that are actually widening our perspective. Back in the day, let's say 50 years ago, they don't even have the ability to talk with someone from the other side of the world. And now we have that. We can just open up Reddit, Twitter, whatever platform, and just reach out to someone from Africa or United States. Where we want to reach out. They didn't have that same. They had to use pen and paper and send use mail, and they would hear about them in about a few weeks if they want to kind of have any kind of conversation with someone from the other side of the world. So the time brought their own advantages, but also their limitations. So therefore, they also kind of limits their way of awareness. They don't have the same opportunity to increase their awareness. So they kind of assume that, okay, so because I'm doing this, I have this job, I have this family, I'm living the life. And that's, for some people, that's the way to live. There is not really a right or wrong answer. But it's just their, each culture, each time period has their limitations. So we also need to remember that.
Yeah.
And remember, anybody who's alive right now, who has lived a certain amount of time, at minimum, are basically a piece of history that the next generation or whoever is coming right after you can learn from, basically. Because we are history books, living history books. We're fossils, dying out fossils on top of that. But to what Pyry said just a moment ago, I had thought about it and just, Jesus Christ, had that small blackout.
What called that mama that you want?
Hi. But yeah, I mean, anyways. I was about to think about our segue. I wanted to say segue to that earlier.
Did you see? The moment I said mama, he automatically
You remember?
he remembered.
I remember for a short period of time, but then I lost it again.
We were talking about cultures and limitations and advantages of each time.
Oh yeah, and also shut up. But have y'all noticed, kind of, especially in our generation, we're kind of like the hybrids generation in a sense, because especially anybody who's late 90s and early 2000s, we kind of have experienced both sides, like the one where we were with pen and paper and the basic ass whooping and shit like that. And then we kind of also got to experience the side of, starting to have smartphone technology. Oh shit, things changing rapidly. Because if you think about it, from 2000, or let's say from 90s to basically 2015, how fast things changed, rapidly. Cars, phones, TVs, even basic TVs. We went from the fucking thick ass TV that weighed fucking bus into slim mill TVs.
I can still fix those.
Hey, changing the lamp. Woo!
I can still fix those because we had those. Well, shout out the Philips. They had that old ass the TV, the thick one. It never broke.
That's the funny.
That
shit lasted for long, man.
That was the crazy thing, and it still works. But now there is a slight tweaks that you have to do but
Hey, and I segue to that also. The first time we got the flat TV, yo, bro, yeah, live it up. And I remember, Mama didn't go buy the regular like lightweight flat TV. She went and bought the heaviest Samsung flat TV. I'm like, what the hell? Like the TV was heavy. Every time you had to move, that shit was heavy. The bigger the better. The bigger the better. Hey, she said, you know what? What was it? How was it? 55 inches the first time? Yeah, you remember back in the days, that was massive. Like nowadays, everybody like, oh, I got 69, 70 something. What? 60, 70 something. Yeah, like the times have gone crazy. But yeah, the earlier segue, just to mention, like, imagine we are kind of like the hybrid generation that we kind of like get to experience both sides and like can reminisce on, oh, you remember the good old days. Unlike like Generation Alpha, those are kind of cooked, like heavy cooked, because they're the generation who are like fully born with like smartphone on the hand. That's
So. They have this bad thing. I've noticed that respect for older person just. I'm not saying that you have to respect the older person just because they are older, but I'm saying that you still have to behave when you are around older persons.
Or anyone.
Yeah. Or anyone, actually. But if there is, like, if we are just a group of guys, everybody's 25. If we say some messed up shit, no worries, big deal. If one of our fathers, for example, is here, we don't say those kind of stuff. You get that's what I'm trying to say. Like, there's a certain type of behavior that you will do out of respect. The young kids don't have these days. Young kids,
they do not understand.
They don't have.
Okay, and to that, remember this as well, because back in the days, we had that little difference in a way that. Let's imagine that you lived in a village and you had your family and whatever, etc., and you always, because at least in African culture, they usually tend to take care of their old elder as well. They don't like throw them somewhere to live. Example, Palo Kato or etc., and by that there was this kind of like a chain of knowledge in a sense that. The older you were, more knowledge you at least should have, in a sense. So that's why kind of was one of the reasons why people were like respecting the elders, in a sense. Because nowadays we have internet, we have books left and right and so on. So the change of knowledge, in a sense, doesn't really go down anymore. It kind of mixes out all around. So it's.
Yeah, so I guess you kind of see from where that notion is coming from. The older you are, the more you know. Because back in the day, people our age didn't have the same access as the older people did. Let's say 15 years old, they didn't have any chance of getting access to knowledge someone in their 50s. But now, because it all kind of, the rules were pretty much twisted by the time internet became a really huge thing. Now someone in their teens is able to access someone in their 50s couldn't imagine getting access to in their teens back in the day. So I guess there comes that notion where it comes from, but also now we kind of see how outdated it really is because of that change.
But one thing I can still to this day give off to somebody who's older than me is that certain experiences you cannot like even though how many times you read about it or so on, you cannot like fully grasp it the same way as somebody who's older has experienced. Because same way they used to tell us when we were younger, like enjoy your youth, because the moment you become older, you start missing it. Back then we were like, man, what you mean, bro? Man, fuck this shit. Let me wild out. But then when we reached that certain like age, we're like, hold up. What they said, that was true, bro. Like, you start to understand like certain things what they mention or experience and tell us down is.
I'm gonna give you a quick example of what you talk about. You guys remember when you sit around with your friends on a staircase outside and you just argue about something like it's not even important. You just chat about stuff. There's no phones. Nobody knows why we are talking about this, but we are just talking about it.
Shit.
Do you know what kind of fun that was?
Hey, yo, bro, I like purple, bro, man. Oh, man, fuck purple.
You get what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying?
What you mean, skin color?
But now you see there's not a chance in the world that you go outside and you see a group of people hanging around at the porch or at the was the road that is like sidelines, sidewalks.
Well, sidewalk. It is sidewalk, but kind of goofy, you know,
Like
because
goofy.
English.
Sidewalks and staircases and like outside, just chapping up.
Without phone.
Without phone, you don't see it. I haven't seen it yet. Young people, especially. I'm not talking about older people. Older people, they don't have phones, or if they do, they don't want to use it because they don't know how. But younger people, and that's kind of experience that you talked about. You cannot experience that in the same way as now.
And the other thing that I've noticed talking to an older person is it's not necessarily that they're smarter, because that's what we kind of like. Oh, yeah, I think you've been called. Oh. Sorry, bro. Sorry, bro. Wait.
Yeah, go ahead. Because we actually have to wrap this up after this.
I gotta also start. Yeah, we're
Yeah,
good. Yeah. So the one thing that we're mixing up right now is that we're kind of like connecting older person with being smart. It's not that older people. What I classify are knowledgeable, or well, they're experienced, and also is the wisdom that we are kind of like looking, kind of like when you look at the old shows, movies, medieval fantasies, and etc. Usually the older one is the wise one, because age and time brings wisdom. Unless you were fully stupid on your youth and you didn't really learn anything from your mistake, then that's that. Because somebody can be not smart, but they can be wise as well. So that's that. So that's why, yes, respect your elders. Like, it's just pure respect everybody, but especially elders in a way that, of course, if they're behaving in a
in a certain way.
not mature manner, then of course it's whatever. But still, to the end of the day, try to respect, because they're basically dying fossil of history that you can learn from, because they have that wisdom in the end of the day. And if you have ever experienced it when, example, father or like somebody from family who's noticeably older, not like somebody who's like 5 years, 10 years, like noticeably older than you, who has experienced a different generation, as we mentioned earlier, you can like see, especially when what they say about like certain scenery happens to you, and you're like, oh shit, oh, so this is what they meant like that. The moment when they say it doesn't really sound right, But when it happens to you, you're like, oh shit, that okay.
That's scary.
Yeah. So that's why I'm like, when I listen to an older person, I might be like, because when you're younger, you're like, I'm smarter, I got my shit together. What you just said, it don't make any sense to me. But you gotta remember, at the end of the day, that's somebody who has lived longer than you and most likely has experienced it long ago and have had regret with it, because that's on top of that. Older people usually have regrets that a younger person can avoid by listening to them and learning from them.
Yeah, but it's hard. It's hard for the problem comes where older people are giving young people advice about whatever. If this is really great that they give advice, and they should, of course. But the problem comes in when young people, they don't have the experience, so they don't have the bandwidth to understand what they're saying. They know, from intellectual place. Okay, yeah, sure, sure. But I don't see the point. Yeah, they don't know how to interpret it in action. They don't know what it means in reality. They kind of understand, yeah. Fossil is talking this and this and this and that, but they're not able to translate it how it applies to them. And there comes the problem. Like if older people could be able to showcase, okay, this is how you should maybe approach it or something like that, then it could be something that they can implement in the future. But do you think that a lot of old people are able to do that, or is it even possible to do that? I don't know.
It depends on area. And actually, the integration part, probably at least more than that, I will blame it on, people don't really use that much of their time to hang around their, example, grandparents anymore. Because I've at least lately have noticed like videos in YouTube about like youngsters who basically used to be like that they didn't hang out with their family, like older family members or so on. But something happened in their life. For example, I had this one video where the guy, he was Asian and lived in US or something like that. And he had like grandparents and so on. He wasn't that connected with them. And he said like the grandmother like died and he didn't feel much about it. Then his grandpa had cancer and had to be treated and so on and so on. And even then, he didn't feel much because he was purely disconnected from whatever. And then, his grandpa's state was getting worse or so on and so on. And one day, this kid, started recalling like he passed, younger age, how he, used to hang out with them and so on, check the old thing. And the other thing was that he was disconnected with language as well because he didn't speak Chinese anymore. He spoke only English, so he couldn't communicate with grandparents. So he started like learning the language so he could communicate with his grandparents because he realized, okay, he had like short period of time left anymore, or like the time is not guaranteed anymore. So actually he started noticing that he's becoming attached to him again, like connecting with him. And then, he, if I remember right, he sent, no, it's just he sent his grandpa a letter in Chinese, which actually got his grandpa happy again. And he started hanging out with his grandpa to listen to him and hear his stories and stuff like that, which actually connected him again back to him. And, well, shit, at that moment he realized, okay, the disconnection wasn't because bada boom, but it was purely that he didn't hang out with them. He didn't like listen to them or try to understand their stories, and because everybody know, especially modern, everybody trying to live their own life, trying to focus on their own shit and so on and so on. So he, hanged out with his grandpa, tried to appreciate the small time that they have, the stories that, because as we said, older people have like experience, they have wisdom. So he was shit. Oh shit, I love my grandpa, shit. And guess what? The moment that, grandpa was looking fine, getting good, he was like having plans what he's going to do with his grandpa. Grandpa passed away next day. But, that shit hit him like a wreck train because he realized, oh shit, actually he cares about it because, he got to experience that, hanging out with somebody who's older and so on and so on. And the thing that actually wrecked him even harder was when he was told that the grandpa actually passed away being happy because he got to connect with his grandson, and grandson actually learning the language again to communicate with him so they could have a relationship and so on and so on. And I was like, yeah, that's what's missing nowadays from a lot of people because,
Yeah, man.
But that was a segue. That's a story for...
that's a good one. And I think it's a good to end it there because it was touching.
Oh, shit, man.
But any last words?
Man, I'm tired as hell, and there's no party like our party because we don't go to Didi's parties, say. And yeah. But yeah, be blessed as always. And yeah, see y'all in next episode for my part, and hopefully we get to have a more interesting conversation coming up.
Last words? Or did you have anything else?
Fuck y'all.
Fuck you. Where's that coming from? Fuck y'all. First off, yeah, fuck you all. Okay, no.
Like you.
Well, not really. I don't honestly. Not really. Yeah. There's a huge silence there, and then no.
Any last words?
No, I honestly saying I said all the things I needed to say. So honestly saying,
Good luck, y'all.
good run.
Good luck, y'all.
Great. As you heard this man, for the next part, my advice or my tip is actually be around your grandparents if they are still alive. And just listen to the stories. Maybe you don't like all of them, but you gotta listen, in my opinion, because the things that they will tell you will not read it from books. You will not read it from internet. When they tell you a story, they know. For example, my grandma, she is now 90 years old. She remembers some of the stuff that she has been gone through to the T. Like, she knows exactly who happened. Like, who happened, what happened, when happened, what the color, I was like, I'm looking at her like, but grandmama, you don't remember what you did last day. How do you remember this?
It's cold, bro.
You get what I'm saying? Like, it's very interesting. For example, when my grandmama said that she had to wash a 9-year-old's body because they were dead, I'm like, God.
Some of you don't really experience
You
that.
get what I'm saying? Like, you don't get that. So that's my tip. And I not highly, but go, if you found this video actually very interesting and very knowledgeable, like, comment, and subscribe. You know where the things are.
Go fund me.
That foundation.
My last 2 cents.
All right. Okay.
I want to comment because I felt too wake what I was about to say. So, but I guess wake, not woke, wake. But none of that shit. Let's not talk about it. But anyway, so I guess the takeaway from this episode we were talking about today is that don't take age for granted, either in good or bad, because being old doesn't mean you're wise, but being young doesn't mean you're stupid. Both ways, both ways. So I guess you should focus more. This is my take on it, but focus more on what they have to offer to you. If they have the confidence, they have the experience, they have all the things that actually help you. Don't. I guess the age is really irrelevant, because I think that the notion the older you are, the more you know, it's more like a fossil remainder from the time before we have all the knowledge and the access to information we now have. Yeah. So I guess you shouldn't really care that much about the age, if you ask me.
Yes, sir.
That's my take.
Yes, sir. Preacher. You know what to do. See you in the next episode.
See you.
All right, y'all motherfuckers. I need to bounce.